You know, I actually didn't spell that thing out because I don't remember whether there's one or two L's in it. Well, I'll leave it that way. It's much better.
A woman bought an expensive dress, brought it home to the husband, showed him the bill, and he said to her, "When you tried it on, why didn't you say, 'Get behind me, Satan'?" She said, "I did," and he said, "It looks so good from the back."
Man is reading the newspaper. A woman comes in and says, "Notice anything new?" Why is it, after thousands of years of civilization, husbands have never been able to pick out hairdos and new hats?
I don't know about you, but I could listen to Bishop Sheen jokes all day. I think one of the reasons that he impacted so many was because of his amazing sense of humor. And next week, I'm going to put together some of his most powerful moments where he really touched the hearts of millions. So if you want to stay posted, please subscribe and hit the bell. Also, I wanted to thank you guys that have already subscribed. This past week was like, I got more subscribers than I ever have before, so that was a huge highlight, and I really appreciate that. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Please share it so that others may, through his humor, be brought closer to Christ and his church.
Take, for example, how often a man says he wants a cigarette, and he wants it then. He cannot defer it. The only time he will put off not having a cigarette possibly is when the lighter doesn't work. The spirit is willing, but the flash is weak. A mother wrote us that she was teaching her children catechism, and she asked one of her children the difference between a mortal and a venial sin. And the little girl said, a mortal sin makes God angry, and a venial sin makes him nervous. And the mother writes, Kathy, our little 2-year-old daughter thoroughly enjoys watching you. In fact, when it comes time to go to bed, you get many kisses as a good... She's 2 years old. Did you hear that, the first part? She looked up and she says, Mommy, I just love Bishop Sheen and Mickey Mouse. Bishop Sheen first and Mickey Mouse next. God love you. You are the only person who can keep my wife quiet for a full half hour. I have a little brother, and he says that all bishops are bald on top. And I told him you were not. So would you take off your little hat and show him that you are not bald? They say the reason a woman's mind is cleaner than a man's is because she changes it more often. One little girl said to her mother, Mommy, she said, I've never seen an angel with a beard or a mustache. Do men ever go to heaven? And the mother said, yes, child, but they get in by the close shave. Then before marriage, many young girls are called angels by the young men who are in love with them. After marriage, they are called angels too, because they're always harping on something. I got up on a subway and gave my seat to a woman who was holding onto a strap. She was rather surprised. And she said to me, why did you do that? Well, I looked at her and I saw that she was absolutely incapable of understanding a spiritual reason, and I said to her, well, madam, I tell you, ever since I was a little boy, I've had an infinite respect for a woman with a strap in her hand. Then there is, of course, also the vanity. You heard about the girl, didn't you, who got an engagement ring and she wasn't sure that anybody noticed it? And finally she said, my, it's hot in here. I think I'll have to take off my ring. Then there is the boasting. Is it true? I do not know, but it is said that people from Texas boast a great deal. Well, they have a good reason to boast, but it seems as if this particular Texan was talking to someone from Boston, and he was speaking about the siege of the Alamo, and he says, just think of it. He says, one man alone stood off invading armies. And the man from Boston said, well, have you ever heard of Paul Revere? The Texan says, isn't he the man that ran for help? A girl student at Rosemont College went to the sister saying, I just finished reading Bishop Sheen's work on Three to Get Married. God and I are willing, but we can't find the man.
Now there's a little girl down there, 2 or 3 years old. How old is she? 2, 3? 9! Glory be to God. You certainly don't look that old.
For example, if I stole your watch, If I stole the watch of one of these operators here, if I could get close enough to this cameraman and steal his watch here, and then I would say to him, I'm awfully sorry, I stole your watch, will you forgive me? He says, yes, I forgive you. But he says, give me back my watch. And to get back there to do right again, we've got to put our foot down in pain and be like little doggies with our tail in back of us. I know of a sick man who was brought into a hospital once, and he hadn't prayed for about 30 years, and he said to the good nun in charge, he said, I haven't prayed for 30 years, sister, pray for me. She says, pray for yourself. She says, sometimes a strange voice is the one most quickly heard. I wonder if he would let me use his halo. How would he look in a beanie? He looks all right in a beanie. I wonder how I look in a halo. You see, I'm not ready for a halo yet. So it is with the world. We cannot. My angel's getting rambunctious tonight, I see that.
I know of a mother who told her little daughter, everything seems hopeless. Daddy's lost his job. Johnny broke his arm. Go and say a prayer. So she said a prayer, told God all of the things that had happened, and then she ended it. She said, dear God, please take care of yourself, because if anything happens to you, we're all in the soup.
It is apropos of an egotist who went to see his physician, complained of pains in his head. And the doctor said to him, you feel a pressing pain here in the forehead? Yes, said the patient. And then rather throbbing pain in the back of the head? Yes. And then piercing pains here at the side? Yes. The doctor said, your halo's on too tight. There's a tremendous anxiety they suffer, torture. The girl doesn't appear at the drugstore at the right time, if he doesn't call at the appointed hour, if she has a headache and can't meet him, life isn't worth living.
I was once giving a talk in the town hall of Philadelphia, and I lost my way. And I asked the boy, where is the town hall? And he told me, I do not remember the exact address. And he said, what are you going to do there? I said, give a talk. On what? And I said, well, boys, I'm going to talk on heaven and how to get there. Would you like to come and find out? They said, you don't even know the way to the town hall.
And one boy answered, a sacrifice is when my mother makes me watch Bishop Sheen and I want to watch the Lone Ranger. Bye now, and God love you.